right. Thank you for tuning in. Our next guest is going to explain something to me. Let me just read you a little bit of something. Peter Bedard is on the phone. He has written a book called Convergence Healing. This is what my notes say. It says that Peter suffered from a debilitating physical and emotional suffering after a car accident when he was 17 years old. He identifies and spells out a revolutionary approach in his book to eliminating pain, one that not only saved his life but uncovered a powerful way of healing chronic pain without prescription medicine for thousands of others. And the way I understand it, it has to do with loving the pain. Loving the pain. Mm-hmm. I got a little pain in my leg right now. It's been there since, what, October 1st?
Yes.
I've been walking with a little bit of a limp. It's been getting better the last couple of days.
Yeah.
I love my pain. I'm going to see if it'll help me get better.
It's going to help you.
Peter Bedard, good morning, sir. How are you?
Good morning.
That's a nice picture of you.
I like your sense of humor.
Yeah, you've got a cup. I like that. You're holding a cup. It's already comforting looking at the photo of you. Well, thank you for being. Where are you? Where are you calling from?
I'm out in the east portion of Los Angeles.
So you were 17. You were in a car accident, and you discovered. What did you discover? Explain this.
Well, somebody actually drove me into the back of a semi-truck. I was on a moto-bicane, and they pushed the back tire of my bike and pushed me into a semi-truck, and I actually had a death experience, or what they call a near-death experience.
Oh, my goodness.
I died and came back.
Really?
So I didn't discover in that moment a lot, but I did get, I did go to the other side. I had that experience. I came back. I was really, really angry for two reasons. Right before the accident, I was very, very angry at my parents because I wanted to go to an event, a party, and I was almost 18, and my parents said no, and I obeyed them, but I was furious at them for not trusting me. And that anger stayed with me. And then I also felt like I got kicked out of heaven. So I had died and come back, and death in my experience was the most beautiful, amazing, incredible, loving, blissful experience that I've ever had in the world. And to go from that to be told, hey, you can't be here, you need to leave, and back into a body that was just torn up. I was very, very angry. That anger really lodged itself in me. And then I had fibromyalgia and arthritis and asthma and bronchitis and sciatica, and I had to learn how to walk again, and I had chronic pain and anxiety and depression, and the list goes on and on and on.
Wow.
And what I discovered was that if I, which you said very funny, in a funny way, was that if I started to actually love the pain, I actually healed. And there was a whole series of things, but that's one of the primary ingredients in this process, is to actually sit down, stop, and instead of beating it up, making it wrong and bad, punishing it, telling how frustrated you are or angry you are at it, to actually turn it around and love it.
Okay, how do you love your pain? Okay, I'm trying to think of an example. I mean, do I bathe it in warm water?
Sure, yeah, that might work. I've had people do all kinds of stuff. In your thinking process, that's a big part of it. But what you're saying is that thing, that thought that just came up for you, that was just that comes from the subconscious. You didn't have time to critically analyze it.
Okay.
That sort of joking kind of things of, do I bathe it in hot water? Yeah, absolutely. That's your subconscious speaking, and that might be a way that would actually help it. The idea on the intellectual thinking level is that we continue our pain so much by beating it up. If you, let's say, for example, you were my pain, you were connected to me deeply, so you're my pain in my knee. You had a pain in your leg, you said, but you're connected to me. Everywhere I go, you go.
Yeah.
And I'm constantly telling you how much I hate you and I can't stand you and I wish you'd go away and you frustrate me.
Right.
And I say a lot of horrible things to you. How would you feel in response to me?
Well, yeah, but okay, I wouldn't like that. I might leave.
Exactly.
Actually, I might leave, so I don't know.
Well, you won't be able to because you're stuck. You're with me, so you wouldn't be able to leave.
So I would resent you.
Like me,
I would resent you.
You would resent me, exactly. And if you behave anywhere like my pain does, when I did that to my pain, it was almost as if my pain said, "Oh, okay, you think you're hurting now? You keep treating me like that, boy. You have nothing now." And it was like they just sort of came back with even more of a vengeance.
All right, now I don't mean to be silly, and I don't mean to sound like I'm questioning this, but
please do.
What if I had a nail in my foot? And I
take it out.
Take it out. Yeah, because I hate that pain. Yeah. I'm not going to love it. I'm going to hate it and take the nail out.
Yeah, but the pain isn't the nail. The pain is actually the experience that your body's having because of the nail. So take the nail out, get yourself to the doctors, but start saying to the pain, if you were getting that example where you're that part of me that is really hurting, and I kept talking to you the abusive way that I was talking to you, if I actually said, okay, I get it. I know that when I feel loved, it's so much easier to heal. So I'm going to start giving you the love that you need so you can heal. So maybe I need to bathe you in hot water. Whatever it is, I'm going to give you that love. And it could be just thinking differently about you. It could be speaking differently to you. It could be, visualizing, imagining, wrapping you in a golden light, giving you a hug, saying the word, putting the word in that part of your body. That word is a very powerful word.
That word,
and the lack of love
that expression
creates a lot of things.
That expression, wrapping you in golden light. I've heard this before.
Have you? Cool.
Yeah, I have. Yes. But I don't know how to do it. I don't know how to wrap something in golden light other than to get a lamp.
Simple. I love how practical you are. I love it. So the basic idea was, if I had you just sit down, and we have an inner dialogue that we have with ourselves constantly. And that's part of that voice, that word, how we speak to those parts of us. If I just asked you right now just to close your eyes, take a minute, have a deep breath, and just think about, because you're a very practical man, you're very straightforward, you just think about what it's like to put a light inside your body, to put a feeling of warmth, or to put, and these are very practical things. Our body will respond to these things. Our thoughts and our feelings directly affect our DNA, and there's a ton of science around that. And so if you start having a thought of, okay, instead of sending a pain influence to that part of your body, I'm having the thought of a warm golden light, let's say, right? That will actually create an experience within your cells, and your nerve endings will respond to that. So that's what that is. It's a very it sounds woo-woo, but it's a very straightforward type of thing.
Have you worked with people to heal, to release pain or relieve pain? And do the techniques also work to heal, literally heal, like a wound or a tumor or something like that?
Absolutely, and it's over time. It's not like, I'm not a magician. It's a magical process, but there's no magic here. I'm not gonna, I don't have a magic wand and all of a sudden the skin knits up like in a sci-fi movie or something like that. But I've worked with people who have had, pain levels over 10, on a scale of 0 to 10. I've worked with people who have had addiction things, abusive thought patterns, obsessive compulsive disorders, tumors, that type of stuff. And when I work with them in these ways, they heal, and it's dramatic and it's exciting. Now, I've also helped people who are ready to die, and I've helped people go through that process of letting go and doing it in a way that is of love and moving into that love.
Yeah.
One of the big ingredients for the work I do, one is, yes, redefining your relationship with the pain, speaking to it differently. We even name it, and then and build a relationship with it that's a conscious relationship instead of a subconscious background relationship.
And that's one of the most wonderful things you do with your book. It's very insightful. You talk about mindset, but you also make people make the reader realize that you can either be defeated by your pain, or you can win with your pain, not just emotionally but physically too.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Whenever I'm talking to people, I have the point of view that every pain that we have in our life, whether it's a physical, emotional, spiritual pain, is a calling, and a calling from your highest source. It's a calling to be a bigger person, a better person, to evolve, to grow. Pain is doing that. When I had that experience of dying and then going through this 20 years of chronic pain that I had, it taught me to be, in the long run, it taught me to be more loving, to be more accepting, to be more tolerant of myself, and then a greater population. The pain called me to step up my game. My depression called me. When I was isolating and hiding and, not wanting to get out of my bed and, feeling lonely and stuck, those types of experiences, the pain called me to live a bigger life. And that's so important, because oftentimes we just listen to the perceived message of the pain. Pain is like fear. And I say there's two kinds of fear. There's fear 1.0 and there's fear 2.0. Fear 1.0 is a true fear. Someone's standing in front of you and they got a gun pointed at your head. Fear 2.0 is the fear of fear. Most of us in this, especially in America, are walking around in an experience of the fear of fear, the fear of the other. And we let that fear rule us. We let that fear control who we are, what we do, where we go, even how we feel. And so when we can challenge that and we say, okay, fear is a messenger, and fear is just saying, pay attention, this is important. And then when we go to what's under the fear, why the fear is really there, then the fear gets to go away. The problem is we normally pay attention, just like the pain, we normally pay attention to the fear itself. And we don't think about or we don't feel or understand where it's
interesting,
came from.
Let's take a little break and we'll be right back. Peter Bedard is on the phone. His book is called Convergence, Healing Pain with Energetic Love. We'll be right back.
Weather is brought to you by myfwc.com. Safe boating is no accident. Times of clouds and sun and cool for Wednesday. Highs in the low to mid 60s. Partly cloudy and rather chilly winds tonight with a low in the upper 30s in a few inland spots, about 51 along the coast. For Thursday, mostly cloudy, high 66 to 70. Friday, cloudy, breezy, and warmer with some rain at times, even a thunderstorm that'll taper to an afternoon shower, the high 72 to 77. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Joe Lundberg.
Hi, I'm Seth with AA Lock, Dock, and Security. Have you ever thought about the locks or security on your house or business? Have you ever wondered why the keys to your new car cost so much? Well, at AA Lock, Dock, and Security, we can help with securing your valuables. We can even replace those expensive transponder keys. We can give you the knowledge that no one else will. Call AA Lock, Dock, and Security at 867-1965. That's 867-1965.
Enrich your life at Golden Ocala Golf and Equestrian Club. Here, century-old oak trees surround stunning homes, the finest resort-style amenities, and a stately clubhouse. Our exceptional golf course will host the 2016 Coates Golf Championship presented by R&L Carriers. And here you can savor a luxurious lifestyle that's second to none. Call 352-369-6969 for more information on our available real estate options and to schedule a home tour.
He's back. That's right. Bob Kennedy with Berkshire Hathaway Home Team Realty begins his new series of real estate programs Friday, January 15th. We'll be discussing the latest news in real estate, trends, financing, you name it. This is an interactive program, so of course, your questions and concerns will be answered. Remember, the first program will be Friday, January 15th at 9:30 a.m. right here on The Source, WOCA 96.3 FM and 1370 a.m. All right, 11 minutes before 11 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in. An interesting interview we're having with Peter Bedard. He has been trained in consciousness studies. He had a near-death experience, he told us. He's skilled at hypnotherapy, alternative health, and he's a well-requested speaker. And his book is called Convergence, Healing Pain with Energetic Love. I think he said he's out in East L.A., right?
Yes.
Is that where you are, Peter? East L.A.?
Yep. Yeah, I'm on the east side of Los Angeles.
Thank you for getting up early to do this. Real quickly, I just want to tap into your story about the near-death experience. Were you there for a long time? Did you see people you knew? What was that experience like?
Yeah, it was pretty amazing. So when I died, I was left out in the middle of the road, and there was nobody around, and there's no police report, there's no ambulance report, there's nothing for whatever reason. I don't know why. So I have no idea how long I was there. it had to be a significant amount of time. I don't know how long I was gone for. But on the other side, I went down that tunnel, and when I got to the other side, there was nobody there, and I'm feeling this amazing love and this incredible bliss. It's the happiest experience, and I mean this so true, and I hope it doesn't offend anybody, but death is the most beautiful thing that's ever happened to me, and I look forward to it happening and going through that process again. That doesn't mean I'm let's be off myself. Right. But I want people to really understand that death is an amazing, amazing experience. And so many people are walking around again in fear of that. And so I'm hoping that message gets out to people. Well, so when I was on the other side, there was nobody there.
Okay.
Oh.
So there's no relatives greeting you? There was no Jesus, no Buddha, nobody, huh?
Nothing. And I expected there to be something. I remember thinking while I was there, where's my great-grandmother and my dead dog?
Well, let me just say something about that. Because a lot of times when people look at their religious beliefs and they talk about life after death, and then when you hear people talk like you just did about those near-death experiences, it says, okay, well, maybe some of this religious teaching is true. Maybe there is something to it. But the one thing I always say is this, is that if indeed there's this message that we need to get out there that there's life after death, then there's another message we're missing, and that there's life before death. Like why do we want to live our whole lives just so we die? And the fact that you felt rejected and you were a little offended by the fact that they kicked you out of heaven is only in my mind is only another way to reconfirm my belief that we're here for a reason. And
absolutely.
And if that love you felt on the other side is there, then that love is also here. But for some reason we don't know it. We don't receive it, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what I had to learn. I came back and I was just furious. I did not want to be here. My body was destroyed. I had a shattered knee and 5 cracked vertebrae, and my wrist was split open. I lost all the nerves in my right hand, and I had brain damage that went undiagnosed. It was awful, and I was a dancer. So to come back to a body that had, an athlete type of body that had been destroyed like that, I didn't want to be here. And that was what you're saying is a lesson that I had to learn. Okay,
so here's a question for you. In the prep material to speak to you, and you did send the book, which thank you for that, it implies that you healed, or you believe you healed yourself. And I'm not taking that away. I believe you. If you believe you did, then you did. But when we heal ourselves, if there was love that you felt, unconditional love that you felt, it must have been coming from something. And we could say someone, and you could say that someone was named God. And therefore, that same thing is right here. So isn't the healing, the self-healing, isn't it actually done at least with the permission of that love, of that God?
Sure. I just, being on the other side and growing up in a Christian background, I don't know if it wasn't any God that I had recognized or was taught that would be there.
Right.
So yes, I absolutely agree with what you're saying. I actually talk a lot about God, but God for me is more of a spirit understanding. But then the healing didn't just come from me. I had to open up to it. And the healing came through a lot of other people. I created my team of healing. And so the more and healing had to be on each level of my existence. And that was one big thing that I had to change, because normally when we work on ourselves, we work on one primary level. We work on, even people who are in the spiritual or more religious world, they even tend to really only work on one understanding. And a lot of times they don't get their actual spiritual understanding to be a physical experience. It's just like a mental conceptual thing. Yeah. You gotta feel it. And so I always give the example of weight loss. Let's say that form of pain, somebody who has it's like a serious weight issue. They only work on that one physical level, the body level. They diet, they exercise. Okay, that's great. But if they have a mindset where they just think of themselves as somebody that nobody wants, as unattractive, as unloved, that type of thing, and they have on a spirit level, they have a broken heart because they were always taunted or made fun of or something of that sort. Those two knowings of the three, the body, mind, spirit, those two ways of knowing themselves on that mind level and spirit level is broken and not enough. Those are always going to challenge and counteract all the physical work they're doing on the body level. And that's why they yo-yo. They go up and down in their weight.
And what you also bring forth in your book are other people's experiences.
Oh, all the time. So my book is an interesting sort of, if I may say so, it's an interesting read. It's my personal story of dying, coming back, and healing myself and discovering this process for doing that. Then it's my work with doing that process with my clients over the last decade plus. And then it's their stories about how they've applied this stuff that I do. And then it's a self-help book in a way, because then it's exercises on how people can start applying these types of things in their own life.
Yeah, very fascinating stuff.
So if we're stubborn, if we say this pain is not going to stop me from going to Disney World and walking 9 miles, I mean, does that stubbornness in a way help us?
It can. It depends. So what I do is I start asking the pain what it needs to heal. So if that stubbornness is coming from you and not from the pain, then it's not going to help. And so the example of that is, let's say there's a 17-year-old kid, and he or she is messing up big time, and everybody is telling him what he needs to do, right? The principal, the teachers, the parents, the friends, the family members, everybody's talking at him saying, this is what you need to do. And so that would fall into that category. You need to go on that walk. You need to go and do these things, right? Mm-hmm. Just do it. So instead of turning it around and saying to the kid, okay, kid, all right, you're messing up here. What do we need? What do you need to do? What do you want to do in order to make this situation better? And that's one of the big ways that I start working with people is we start asking the pain itself. We start trying to listen to it enough, to build a relationship with it enough that it can communicate back to us, because we're always hearing it, we're feeling it.
Right. Peter,
so what if we actually stop to tune into it?
Peter, I have a commitment to my audience to make sure that they get what the book is about, and I think you've done a really good job, but I want the audience to know this also, and correct me if I'm wrong. We've got like 2 minutes, so I'll do this real quick. The when you refer to pain, it may be pain in the traditional sense, or it may be an addiction, or it may be, as you mentioned, obesity. It looks like there's a lot of different things that can be treated with your approach. Is that correct?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely, whether it's physical, emotional, or spiritual.
Okay. Convergence Healing is the name of the book. Peter Bedard spells his last name Bedard. And so from that point, we need to know, is the book on Amazon? Do you have a website for the book? And also, I have a copy of the book. Call me if you want the copy that I have. But Peter, tell us how the rest of us buy it.
Sure. So they can go to convergencehealing.com to check out my work. They could find the book on Amazon, on Barnes & Noble, on IndieBound, on pretty much on Kindle, any platform that's out there for books, at bookstores. The book just went to #1 in categories on Amazon in pain management and mental and spiritual health. So
wow, that's awesome.
So they should be able to find it at the traditional booksellers.
All right, let me give this one away. Good morning. You've got the book. Who's this?
Sam.
Who is this?
Sam, S-A-M.
Sam?
Sam, right, like
Okay, Sam, do you know where we are?
the Paddock Mall, right?
We're at the Paddock Mall, yes. The book will be waiting for you, okay?
All right, I certainly appreciate it.
All right, Sam, you got it. It'll be waiting for you. Thank you. Peter,
I love that.
I knew you were going to strike a chord with our listeners, and for those who were also trying to call in, I saw there were other callers. I apologize, but it's a very affordable book. $16 is what it says on my list here. Convergence Healing is the title. Peter Bedard, thank you so much for being on with us today. That was outstanding.
Great to speak with you, Larry. Thanks so much.
We'll be right back.
Broadcasting from the Paddock Mall Studios, this is WOCA, Ocala, Gainesville, The Villages, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
Fox News Radio, I'm Lillian Wu. The president heading to Omaha, Nebraska shortly, likely talking up points he made in his State of the Union address last night, including progress under his leadership. Meanwhile, another face-off for GOP candidates tomorrow night in Charleston, South Carolina. There are just 19 days left till the Iowa caucuses.
Voters really starting to pay attention. Polls say they are persuadable, so tomorrow night's debate could change some minds. The long predicted by the establishment, at least, implosion of Donald Trump has not yet happened. In this New York Times CBS News poll, nationally,